Hello everybody, and welcome to RaceBeacon's The Midweek Show. Now, in the past week, the devastating news of the passing of Sir Frank Williams shook the racing world. He had dedicated his life to motorsport, and of course himself and Patrick Head were able to guide a team that had no right to be successful into the household name that it is for motorsport fans today. They took on the likes of Ferrari, McLaren, Lotus, Alfa Romeo, Renault, and many, many more, and came out on top. Not once, not twice, but 8 times over the course of only 17 years. They also made champions with Alan Jones, Keke Rosberg, Nelson Piquet, Nigel Mansell, Alain Prost, Damon Hill, and Jacques Villeneuve, all winning drivers' titles with the team. And while that dominance has been missing in recent years, the history books prove and serve as a testament of what was achieved during Sir Frank's career. And as the Williams family have stepped away, and while Sir Frank's time has come, we must remember what he was able to achieve, as his name races on for many years to come. Hello everybody, and while yes, it has been obviously some incredibly sad news over the course of the week as well, we're effectively doing this midweek show in tribute to Sir Frank Williams. Of course, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but it's a nice thing, and that was saying, yeah, I thought it'd be nice to make. So I hope you sort of obviously not enjoyed that, but thought it was nice. But yes, we're going to be looking ahead nonetheless to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix this weekend, and boy, there is a lot to go at. We've had a lot of news in the week as well, also some topic of debate in certain drivers' private lives as well. So yes, we have a lot to talk about as well today. So hello JPack, how are you doing? Hello Nicholas, how are you all doing? I hope you've all had a good week. It's been a week since I was last live. So is it low sound? Is the sound quite low? I know it should be okay, shouldn't it? I think I'm using the exact same ones before. Like, so, and away we go, and Max crashed into Perez. What a disaster that was. Who do I think will win in Saudi Arabia? Well, we have plenty of time to get onto that one because we're going to be looking ahead at all the things that we are going to be expecting from the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I'll also be playing out with that Sir Frank tribute as well, and uploading it separately on the channel because, of course, it's a separate video. So, yes, hello everybody. We see as well Massimiliano here. How are you doing? Shime as well. Hope you're all having a great week. I'm making sure that everything's all gone out perfectly and the stream's running smoothly. Anyone else think the sound's quite low? Because I can increase. The sound is great. Okay, yeah, I was going to say it's the same sound settings or same audio settings I've been using throughout the sort of rest of the season, so hope it's okay. But yes, basically, we're looking ahead now to Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And actually, we do have some sort of news in that sense, is that the track map, the official track map has actually been released by F1. I don't think it was last week when we went to do the stream. So we now know there's going to be 3 DRS zones, which I really was not expecting. Of course, DRS zones, they can only be in places where it ends with a braking zone, because that's when the DRS trigger closes. So, let me just quick check everything. Still working fine. Okay, I like it when everything's working fine. It makes it a lot easier. Impressive intro video and voiceover. Oh, thank you, Sham. Thank you. Massimiliano, you watching too many movies, man. Like it. Yes, so, as we look ahead. So yeah, we have those 3 DRS zones, which is really interesting. I thought there'd be at most 1 or 2. And I thought as well, there might be one down at the bottom end of the track, but I don't know if that indicates that they don't actually expect there to be heavy braking or turning before brake, or turning after braking, sorry, even, because of course that's quite dangerous to have the DRS open while you turn in for a corner. Probably seen in chat. On the game, the second DRS zone is on the back straight. Why is it different in real life? I'm fairly sure, Jack, basically the situation was Codemasters didn't know where the DRS zones were going to be, because this was only just released this week. Like, even for last week's midweek show, we didn't have this information. So, yeah, this is the first time it's all been released and the first time we're looking at it. How could they put a DRS zone during the corners? Like, they're pretty straight corners, but still. Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's not very... You sort of answered it in the question. Yes. I mean, to an extent, it's more dangerous than a straight, but it should still be fairly safe. It's only a light bend, especially at the speeds they're going as well. But yes, so that's quite interesting, and I think it's definitely, obviously, this track. The news reports were weeks ago that it was designed purely with racing in mind, and if you look at it, it doesn't really seem to like. That doesn't really ring too true, but of course, that's just going off of looks. When we get to the actual race, it's probably going to be quite different. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. I thought it was definitely really interesting. And then, of course, Speed Trap as well, being right at the top end after this long, effectively, it's a really long, winding straight. See the Speed Traps at the end is going to be really interesting. And as well, look at that. It is only 1 day and 20 hours until we are lights out for FP1, which is absolutely brilliant. Very much looking forward to this weekend. It should be, I mean, I'm predicting a good bit of carnage, definitely. Hello there, hello Matthew, I hope you've been having a good week. That second DRS zone, bottom left, looks dangerous. Yeah, I'd say that's probably the most ambitious one, but I still fully expect it to be fine. I don't see... I think it should all be fine. I hope so, at least. As Lando said today, he was doing some speeches. I don't know what it was, but I saw he was doing some speeches and some talks. Is there any speed-wise analysis of the sectors? I'll get onto that. I have prepared with some of this. But yeah, I saw Lando saying about if you have a crash here, it's going to be a big one. And I think that's probably going to ring true, unfortunately, because there's a very high likelihood that we're going to see a crash. You do most F1 weekends, especially when we've got high speeds. All it takes is being a little bit too ambitious into a corner, rear end steps out, and you're straight into the wall. So it's definitely one of the more dangerous tracks for sure. At least 4 DNFs in the race, I predict. Yeah, that's very plausible. And as well, I think we're in a situation where there's very likely to be safety cars in the race, so the strategists are going to be definitely keeping that in mind. Or we could have a first-year Baku situation where everyone expects it to be such a dangerous track that they all go incredibly cautious, especially this late in the season. It's either going to bring out a little bit more desperation, or drivers might sit back a bit and go, you know what, we just need to pick up some points, set up for Abu Dhabi as best as possible. Hey Eamon, how are you doing? Are track limits also a problem at the race? No, the track limits are the walls. So, yeah, for most corners, the track limits are defined basically by the walls. By the way, is sub count from my YouTube studio? Yes, it is, and that's why it's really bad at updating when I do it. I have to have it open so it updates in lump sums when I go, because I don't obviously have it open the whole time. I'll check. Yeah, but yeah, onto the track limits. So we're actually going to be taking a quick look at some of the actual bits of the track. So we actually did have some footage released by F1 of the track overhead at night, which I just think, if you haven't seen it, it's absolutely worth it. It sort of gives you an idea of how bright the floodlights that they use in F1 it actually is. Oftentimes the drivers say it's hard to distinguish between day and night in that sense, because the track is so light, it's so well lit. And you can see, look, compared to normal streets, normally you have okay visibility on streets at night, when you're driving around. But it's crazy. They try to replicate basically daylight from it, so it's pretty cool. Really, really nice bit of footage to just sort of look at. I did actually move over. Yeah, I did move over to it. That's good. I thought I was doing that thing again where I just talked to myself basically, with the screen on a different thing. But yeah, so there's that. But also we have, a lot of talk about the walls, and this is something I saw. I sort of assumed they'd be doing this. But Jeddah will be using the safer barriers on the walls as a substitute for runoffs, which is, obviously you can't have them ploughing into concrete barriers at 200 miles an hour. So for F1 fans, it's not new technology. Safe barriers have actually been around since 2002 and were first implemented in IndyCar at the Indy Motor Speedway. So yeah, there you go. These are barriers that you've seen a lot of in F1. So yeah, interesting to see. It's very much like a speedway in that sense. It's a full street track, but the speeds they're doing are absolutely crazy. What we're seeing, at least for DNFs, by the way, it's not really, it's Steven. I'll try to if Bottas gets P2, it'll be difficult for Max, for sure. If this track is so high speed, why are they making it that narrow? Well, actually, the track itself isn't very narrow. We'll get on to more pictures as well, actually. Some of these. The track isn't particularly narrow. It's a very, very wide track for the most part. I think we'll really get an idea of that when the cars are out on track. So this is actually how many corners the track has compared to the others. This is the full rankings, the amount of corners. You've got 27 compared to 23 at Marina Bay, which was obviously the previous record holder. Yas Marina 21, Baku 20, and of course Circuit of the Americas 20 as well. But just have 27 corners on a racetrack is absolutely... It's crazy, to be honest. There's so many. But yeah, there we go. So there's all of that. This was, I think, the best indicator sort of the DRS zones. Is take a look at it a bit closer on. So, these aren't very tight corners, which is why there's DRS zones here. Obviously, they wouldn't have it in a corner like down here. And equally, it ends here because there'll be a braking zone for that corner. So I assume all the simulations indicate that they will have to at least tap on the brakes there. Otherwise, the DRS flap wouldn't close, which wouldn't be ideal. Then, of course, it reopens when they get back onto a safe part of the track. Then you're obviously braking for the final corner. So it closes again, and then right back down the main straight, all the way down into turn 1, which is by far the slowest corner on the track. But again, we'll get onto that in just a moment's time. But yeah, here's some just overhead images of the track. Seems pretty cool. This is from Race Fans, this one. But yeah, it's all pretty cool. It does look like it's a pretty good looking track for the most part. The inside still looks a bit like a construction site, but for the most part, you got it. What's up, RaceBeacon? Hello, mysterious creature. How are you doing? My prediction: 1 Verstappen, 2 Hamilton, 3 Perez, and pole Hamilton. Now that would be an interesting race. This track is so high speed. Yeah, we have done. What I love about new tracks is that no one knows who it suits, as no one has ever been there. It adds a level of curiosity to it. Yeah, absolutely. You need to predict and just sort of look at it and think, well, okay, obviously the engineers have as much data as possible. Everything points to it being a Mercedes track. You have these long straights, you've got loads of DRS zones. It should be a nice one for Mercedes. I think I saw a tweet as well of people saying, or someone from inside the paddock saying that the Mercedes engineers are quietly comfortable about this one. They're pretty happy. and think Abu Dhabi might be more of a test. Interestingly as well, there was another quote talking about Red Bull and an engine. Because if it is easy to overtake here, like simulations were predicting and how the track was designed, it doesn't look it, but it was predicted to be easy for overtaking. And I think it still will be. The track's wide enough to go side by side for all of these S's, so you get the slipstream, pull alongside, you should be okay. My only fear would be if someone's going up the inside here and another driver on the outside doesn't want to leave as much room, then you've got a very fast crash. That's the, I'd say probably the biggest issue with the track, is it's quite dangerous to go side by side in places. But look, we have the safe barriers. They'll do their job. They're good at slowing the cars down at an effective rate and dissipating the energy. It's not, it's not like the Tech Pro barriers where you're almost going to stop on impact. This has a lot more give in it. You're going to be able to sort of glide across, but it will slow you down a lot more comfortably without causing too much damage from the high speeds. But yeah, it's a pretty wide track. All looks pretty good. I'd say from the safety point of view, it is probably one of the more dangerous tracks, but it's not excessive. It's not like too dangerous. What about Ferrari? Well, that's a good point as well. We'll get on to those. We'll get on to all of these. What do you think about the Merc engine? Well, we know they're going to have the Brazil spec engine back in. They're probably going to be running it at quite a high rate, so it will be interesting to see what they're going to be able to pull off, I think. In the Galaxy, I think it's a perfectly legal engine. I think they're just running it at a higher level and lower downforce in Brazil, which made it seem like, look, we have to bear in mind again that setup, the setup of the car was completely done to be able to overtake. So I don't think it was like an illegal engine or anything. It was just very clever setup work. Like everyone thought Brazil would be a Red Bull track, but Merc came out of nowhere. Yeah, to an extent. To be honest, I think I said beforehand I'd be surprised if it. I don't know. I can't remember what I thought before. I thought it was a bit more of a closely fought one, because you do have the really long run down into turn one. Red Bull copying Merc, then that would be it. Is Saudi Arabia more a Mercedes track than Abu Dhabi? I think it should be, yes. I think this is definitely the safer one of the two. And like I said, the Mercedes mechanics, at least according to reports, seem a little bit more confident about this one. I doubt McLaren quickest because still many high-speed cars. Yeah, there are. And yeah, like I said, we'll get onto the McLaren stuff because I did have something to talk about that as well. Do you think Max will win? I think it's very much potential. He absolutely can win. Do I think he will? It's going to be a challenge here. And the championship as well, it's going to be a challenge. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Only 2 weeks, only really a week and a half to go now till we know who the champion is. Well, hopefully, unless the stewards leave us waiting a week for a steward's outcome. Lewis and Mercedes will have the edge as Bottas is not the same car as Lewis. Do you think Merc can make 2022 cars competitive as it is today? I'm new to F1, so I don't know about their history. Well, Mercedes are, at the moment, they have very, very competent members of their team working for them. And they're very much one of the best outfits in the sport, with a massive budget as well. So that, next year they're going to be up there, unless there's a fundamental flaw in the car, like Ferrari sort of had with their engine when they had to redesign after FIA having a go at them for that. They're always going to be up there, So I think next year, yeah, they're definitely going to be up there and they'll be able to fight for wins. Hopefully they're not as dominant as they have been before. Realistically, I want Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari and Mercedes all right up there, same pace. Actually, chuck in Alpine as well, because I want to see Alonso, battling with the top guys again. See if he's still properly got it. He's still got that edge. Why don't Red Bull run the engine at a higher level? Well, I assume they will for tracks like this. They are going to run it at a higher level, but it depends what the actual peak performance of the engine is, and if they think it's safe to do it for prolonged periods. And there's a lot of variables that go into it. My prediction, both Max and Lewis get disqualified from the season for something and Bottas is champion. That would be absolutely crazy. That would be a good stream. We'd get that one going. Tell us more about the Red Bull engine penalty. Yes, actually, I think I sort of glossed over that, didn't I? So, Helmut Marko was, I saw a quote, he was discussing about whether or not Verstappen would take a new engine somewhere. And he said, actually, if anything, it would be in Abu Dhabi rather than Saudi Arabia, which I think is really, really strange. I mean, it makes sense, but they have to rely on a P2, P3 here. That it's really important that they do that. In the same way, it's incredibly important that that Lewis is going to win. So yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. Do you think Max can win championship in Saudi Arabia? Well, mathematically, he absolutely can. It would need to rely on something going terribly, terribly wrong for Hamilton, though. So yes, Helmut Marko was saying about that. Rishi. Yes, without Merck's engine, both cars are pretty equal. Yeah, I think at the moment as well. Wasn't there something about Bottas taking a new engine, a new power unit as well? I think I saw some reports about that. So that would, it's not going to help their race. That's effectively handing Max assurance of extra points because if Bottas isn't there at the start, he's going to struggle to make his way through. We've seen that from him before. He does struggle to get through the pack. If Max is winning this race, I guess the championship is over, right? Yes, pretty much. I would be really shocked if he pulls out about a 15, 16 point lead and in Abu Dhabi and doesn't win the championship. That would be one of the surprises of the season, and we have had a lot this year. So that'd be another one to add to the list. Will Red Bull be able to keep up with Mercedes in 2022? Potentially, it depends who's done more development work throughout the course of this year. And also who's got the best core design for next year's car. There's a lot that goes into it. If Max is winning this race, I guess the championship's over. Yes, will Red Bull? Yes, I've read that one. Lando Norris for win would be lit, though. It absolutely would. I'd be all over that one. Will Max take a new engine? Well, that's what they were sort of looking at. Is that potentially mind games? Will they actually take it for Saudi and then not get a grid penalty, obviously, for Abu Dhabi? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see when it gets to FP1 when the stewards articles come in saying about who's taken penalties. Hi, hello F1 guy. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good week. How do I think Alpine will do here? I don't think they'll be as strong as they were in Qatar. Same story for AlphaTauri, really. I think they'll be back to their sort of rest of season ways. But McLaren and Ferrari should theoretically be a bit stronger here as well. So that's interesting. That'll be a bit fun. But I've seen quite a few reports about people in the paddock genuinely believing, and well, I guess we'll get onto the McLaren fastest concept, that McLaren are absolutely in the mix this weekend. They are up there and absolutely could go on to grab at least a podium. I've seen a lot of people say that now. Right. Will Max take a new engine? Max might get an engine at Yas Marina with 1500 mileage. That would be hard for Merckx. Yes, that's true as well. Yeah, Bottas could take a new engine. I hope Merck wins constructors for Bottas to get one last championship, but Max to win drivers. That's fair enough. I think it's pretty likely, even if Max does end up winning the drivers, that Mercedes are going to secure the constructors as well. If Max qualifies ahead of Bot, then they will take the engine as there won't be anyone to hold him off. Yeah, that's true as well. But again, we've seen so many times this season that Bottas really does struggle to even get past the midfielders. He does struggle with that element of the race. So, number of overtake less than 5 Saudi. I don't know. I feel like I've said before, look, we've got a really the track's pretty wide. It's going to definitely be possible to go too wide through there, and especially as we go on a little bit further. It's definitely going to be possible to race. I feel like we're going to get a good race. I hope at least. Definitely a safety car. I'd be so surprised if there's not a safety car. Will the banking be in favour of Mercedes Red Bull? It won't do too much, I don't think. It's not going to have a massive effect. It's not throughout the course of the whole lap, so I don't think it'll make a massive difference on the race itself. AlphaTauri planning on crashing into everyone. Lol, Jake. That would, I think the stewards would have a little look at that one. And it'd be interesting to see, I sort of do want to know, what if, Perez hit Hamilton, or what if Bottas hit Verstappen? What would the actual implications be? Would they disqualify the other driver from the championship? Or, it's really interesting, or maybe just be a constructors' disqualification. But yeah, as we move on more, we have some more pictures of the track as well, really just showing how wide this track is and how much room there is for racing. You can absolutely go too wide through most of these corners. And look, we found some runoff. Not a lot of that out there on the track this weekend. But yeah, it's a pretty good looking track actually. I'm quite excited for this race, just to see them sort of go out. They're going to be at really high speeds through the corners, pulling real high G. There we go. This is the next bit that we were getting on. So this is from Andrew Benson. So it's the predicted cornering speeds from the Mercedes team. The slowest corner on the track is turn 2 at 90 degrees. Wait, what? That's third gear. There we go. Yeah, I was reading the wrong bit. Turn 2 at 90 mile an hour. So that's crazy. Is it mile or kilometer? That's a great question. I don't know if that's mile or kilometer. At 90 somethings. There we go. It's kilometer in the bottom there. So they have put a key. Well done, Mercedes. Good job. Yeah, so 90 kilometers an hour for turn 2. And as you're approaching turn 1, obviously heavy on the brakes just as we approach at 100. And then slightly just scrubbing off a bit of speed through the 90 left. And then we just ramp up the speed. We're already at 200 by turn 3. Then 175 as they turn in for turn 4. And then turn 5, 210. Then 245, 265. Then we've got 250, 240, 255, 275, 285. And then, look, even this is one of the slower corners on the track, and it's still 165 kilometers an hour. It's such a quick track. And they really ramp up the speed now. You've got 250, 295, 220, 235, 245, 295, 310, 315 through turn 21. It's going to be crazy, honestly. The speeds they're reaching, the power of the slipstream throughout this whole portion of the track as they get into apparently what will be a braking zone here. As they drop down to a meager speed of 255 kilometers an hour, and then again ramp back up all the way to 315 through the final corner at 120. I'm really excited for this race, genuinely. Like, the speeds, even if it's not the most interesting race in the world, the sheer speed that the cars will be carrying is absolutely crazy. Is it a night race? Yes, it is a night race. It is a night race. Most important pole this season, it seems. Potentially, but I really do think overtaking is going to be possible. I really do. Bad luck hit Bottas in 2, race at 3. Who do you think will win the Sunday? Max or Lewis? That's a really, really difficult one. And honestly, I think we can't take anything from practice either. So it's not something we're going to know until we actually get to qualifying. I'd say, look, on the face of it, it's a Mercedes track. So I've got to say Hamilton. But look, how many times this season have we said, well, on the face of it, it's X team's track. And it just doesn't end up going that way. So it's interesting. Definitely an interesting one. I'm just going to change the title a bit to Saudi Grand Prix preview. I'm still experimenting with the titles to see what actually brings in the most amount of people. So that's saying that sort of, if you see me halfway through streams and sort of changing the title or thinking, hang on, it was something different earlier. That's because I sort of, just look at how many people are clicking on and things like that. Hello Aditya, how are you doing? I hope you're having a good week so far. I want to see Lewis flicking the car on the circuit. Who comes out on top? Lando, Charles, or Carlos? Honestly, Carlos has a real shout in that. I think they're all really even on pace, and this season, well, the last 2 seasons have shown, obviously we can use Carlos as a benchmark. They're all pretty even on pace. I think if you run 5 seasons, one of them are going to come out on top each time. It's going to be different. I don't think there's a clear fastest out of all of them. I'd say probably Charles, and then Carlos, and maybe Lando, but we are talking marginal. They're sort of the next generation of drives in that sense. But yeah, coming on from this one, we have Jeddah is for the engines, absolutely. So there you go. If you're Mercedes, you're already quite happy at that part. 79% of the lap will be at full throttle, which is absolutely crazy. I think the other highest stats was Spa and Monza at 70%. That's just a bit of a reference here. This is going to be, I'm fairly sure, a pretty short race. This must be one of the shorter races of the season in actual time. It's a long lap, but there's not many laps. I think it's only 51 laps, 52 laps. It's somewhere in that region. And here we go. Here's where we get to the McLaren bit. So cars with a good ratio of drag and downforce will have an advantage. I dare to say that we should have an eye on McLaren. They could join the battle. Absolutely, and I've seen a lot more people in the paddock saying that it's very possible that McLaren, based on previous stats in the season, could split the Red Bulls here. It could be a weekend where maybe we see Perez not qualifying that well and not quite able to help out Max in the race. And Ferrari as well should be right up there because their new engine is a beast. They've been doing a great job, to be fair to them. Unfortunately, Lewis, it's definitely a Haas track, Haas 1 and 2. Maybe next season. Imagine a Honda power unit going bang this weekend after a long season of reliability. That would be absolutely devastating for any Red Bull fans. That would be a rough one. It looks super twisty to be full throttle. Well, that's the thing, look, this isn't a short track. This is a really long track. It's a long, wide track. All of this bit, look, we've got the track going all the way from over here up to this point. You're running really high speeds, come through the corner, get a good slingshot, then you're rising up speed again through all this section of the track. It's going to be so quick. I'm really excited for this, just to see the cars performing at that speed. It's going to be great. I do fear, though, someone collecting one of these at some point. And while it will be safe, it's it's going to be a nasty one, even if you do crash. As I know more people have joined, as Lando Norris said, he was doing some talks today. If you have a crash here, you're going to know about it. RaceBeacon, let's do a F1 Fantasy League next season. Yeah, absolutely. We will 100% do a Fantasy F1 League next season. And that'll keep me doing it as well, because I only did, I think, the first race or two this year. And then I haven't even looked at my team since. I could be first in the world for all I know. I know I'm not, but I absolutely could be. But yeah, no, we'll absolutely do a F1 Fantasy League. Yeah, also as well, the Discord link is in the description. If you want to join the community Discord, feel free to do that. We basically just talk about F1 loads, so pretty fun. I think Perez tyre saving might be key here. Potentially. Pirelli haven't released a lot of information on this, because obviously they don't have a lot of data on how the tyres are actually going to perform. It's more just predictions on what they're expecting, so... but yeah, look, I'm really excited for this bit. Just the speeds. Like I said, look, we've got 315 there. We're up to 295 just on this bit for that left kink, and then you're slowing down for 16. It's going to be great. I know I've said so many times, but I really genuinely am excited for this. It's going to be mega. Especially turn 21, turn 22, 23, 24. I think we could see a couple of moves there. And I'm all there for it, because you've got the slipstream and DRS coming up all the way into this point. And then maybe someone making a move. I assume this is where there's more runoff on the track. I assume about here-ish. That could be potentially from this photo. It's quite hard to tell, though. Because I'll be really surprised if you've got a DRS zone and then no runoff there. Because you're going to be expecting moves. And you could very easily... If this was a Formula E race, you'd be seeing two cars in the wall every other lap. So, it's great. Also, I can't wait till Formula E gets going. I'd like to do some stuff on Formula E. Obviously, I know there's not as much interest for that one, but... I think it's going to be like Baku with red flag and a few safety car and virtual safety car. It'd be great, wouldn't it, just to see. Obviously, we don't want a red flag for any dangerous reason, but let's say a bit of debris on the track somewhere. It just spices the race up a little bit more. I'm pretty excited for this one. It's either going to be carnage or everyone's going to play it really safe, I think. Can the Red Bull engine perform as good as Merck's in the next two races? I think this race, no. That Brazil power unit they're going to have strapped in, it's powerful. We know it's powerful. It's going to do well. So I'll be surprised. With the tarmac being so new, will it have enough grip to run hard tyres for a one-stop winning strategy? It's a great question. Honestly, the teams are going to be asking that exact same question. Charles did pole in Baku, but a lot has changed. Yeah, actually, if anything, that Ferrari is more powerful now. So, they can absolutely do it. And that's it. That's why I said sort of before, it's going to be potentially McLaren or Ferrari absolutely right up there this weekend. And probably the same in Abu Dhabi as well. I still stand by Lando Norris could have had pole last year at Abu Dhabi if they had the Mercedes engine a year earlier. Is Red Bull willing to take an engine penalty to try to get on Merck's level? Well, that's the interesting bit. That's what we saw... I think it was Helmut Marko talking about. I'm fairly sure it was him. Saying that if they are to take an engine penalty, it wouldn't be here. It would be at Abu Dhabi. And I think that's so weird. Do they not have much faith that overtaking is going to be possible here? Do they think it'll be too dangerous to overtake here in the sense of it's too much risk? Not as in is it too dangerous to be a racetrack. Obviously, it's past all the safety inspections and stuff. It's a safe racetrack. There's no real issue there. But do they think it's going to be too risky to work their way through the field? Imagine Charles on pole like Monaco and Baku. That'd be absolutely crazy. That'd be crazy as well. Charles did pole in both street circuits, Monaco and Baku. Yeah. And, he's clearly pretty comfortable with them, and it suits his driving style. What was this last one? Oh, yes, this was a nice touch, actually. I really like this. They have the names in Arabic of the drivers. I just think this is quite cool. It looks really cool as well. And maybe something they could do for other tracks as well, when you go there with different languages. I think that's really neat. Something we've not really seen before. I've got to say as well, in the recent years of F1, one of my smallest things that means absolutely nothing, but one of the biggest improvements for me is they have proper artwork for the drivers' garages now, like here. Because it literally would have just been before Daniel Ricciardo, basic white text, maybe like McLaren logo and his number and his flag. That'd be it. So I really do like that they've added a bit of artistic spice to it. They look really good. I also really like how the pink purple looks against the Aston Martin green here. I think that I really like that. I saw people saying they didn't really like that colour combination, but I thought it was quite nice. Looks clean, yeah, absolutely. I like the look of it. It's pretty good. As Honda exit F1, what will happen to Red Bull? Well, we have the engine freeze from next year, so yeah, not a lot. I think this should be okay. But yeah, just this as well, because I know more people enjoy it. This is, I love this, just this bit of footage. Showing the track from above. It's a testament to how bright it is, how well they light this track up. It may not seem it from the TV camera, because obviously it's got a tint to it. And it looks a lot darker because it doesn't focus on the lights. But when drivers have said when they go to night, like street circuits at night and they're driving around, it feels like it's daytime. Also, they have a different visor in, obviously less tinted because the sun's not there. But yeah, they say it's often quite hard to sort of know the difference just by doing it. There's ads on there's ads of drivers all over the city. Yeah, that's it as well. You know, when we come to these Middle Eastern countries, they really do invest in it. They want to really turn it into a brand. They want to be known for it. And they also want people to turn up. So there we go as well. They also put ads, do you think Red Bull should have taken a new power unit in Qatar since their engine is nearly 7 races old against Merc 1 race old? Now it's too late for Red Bull to take a new power unit without risk effing. Yeah, I was saying that in Qatar. I said, look, if I was Red Bull, I'd have taken a new power unit. I think I've said that on stream before, that I sort of expected them to be prepared for the last 2 races, to be able to fight, you know, every single kilowatt of power they can get against the Mercedes engine. So I find it really surprising that they haven't really. Mazepin's car is in ones. Oh god, Mazepin's car's in one, right. If Mazepin's here, then it might be worth taking a penalty. If not, then they will gamble in Abu Dhabi, as he will only be 1 point off Lewis potentially, and he won't win unless he wins Abu Dhabi. Yeah. What's the gap at the moment? 8, isn't it? So I don't think he'll be behind Lewis going into the last race. The gap is 8, isn't it? I'm like 100% certain the gap's 8. I'm going to have to check this now. I'm like certain it is 8, but I'm checking it anyway. Yes, it is 8. Okay, good. I didn't want to get that one wrong. But yeah, because Max picked up that fastest lap point, so he gets that. I'm so excited for this race. Seriously, I think it's gonna be a really good one. We will talk more about 2022 in future streams. So if you are, you know, sort of new around here, make sure you subscribe. We're also starting the daily shorts now, which I think is pretty cool. It's a nice addition. It means that I don't have to, you know, come live, do our live streams each day. But you still get, you know, any breaking F1 news. Will Lewis take his new engine in Jeddah? I don't think Lewis... Oh, well, Lewis will use his Brazil engine in Jeddah. He won't take a new engine and get a penalty for it, but he'll take a new engine. I think they wanted to in Qatar, but Max screwed up with the yellow flags. Yeah, potentially. They didn't want to, you know, stack more trouble on top of it. Potentially, yeah. It's going to be interesting. I am genuinely really excited for this one. And yeah, we'll be bringing a lot of live coverage throughout the weekend. I'm going back home from the weekend. I've been I've been at uni for 2 weeks. Then coming back to watch the last couple of races. So I'll be home and about. I should be watching them all live as well. I'm not going to have to watch it at... Actually, there's a story. The Qatar race I had to watch at 1 o'clock in the morning. Because... So I also do like football coaching. I'm involved with that. And we had to go out. So we left the skybox to record the race. That it didn't go well. The skybox decided it didn't want to record the race this weekend. So I had to avoid any form of social media, anything, up until about midnight when the Sky Sports full replay was on. Because I didn't want to watch highlights. I wanted to watch the whole thing. You know, you get all of the strategy, all of the hype with it. I don't know, I can't really watch F1 highlights, so it doesn't do it as well for me. Unless I'm going back and looking at like previous years. Right, let's go to our chat. Verstappen to pit, come out behind Russell. Russell holds up Verstappen for enough laps for Lewis to finish first. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Williams up there racing the Red Bulls. I know. I think definitely with the Mercedes engine, Williams could get a Q2. This could be one of their last sort of solid races of the year. Sorry, Max's fault for yellow flags. So which team could do better in Jeddah, Merc or Red Bull? Well, there we go. Well, if we take a quick look at these speeds again, we go back. I'm on the wrong tab. There we go. So if you go back and look at these speeds from Mercedes, we're talking incredibly high speed throughout most of the corners on this track. All of this section is pretty much full throttle. Slight lifts, slight downshifts in places. Like you're downshifting from 7 to 6 there, so that's like probably the only part of the track between here and here where you're actually decelerating. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, and the DRS zone should play into it quite well. The main straight, it looks short on the track map, but is actually fairly long in itself. So yeah, it's gonna be good. Like I say, I'm really excited for this one, even with the championship implications happening. Hello, Morgan. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well today. I forgot I made you an admin. Let's go Checo. Yeah, it'd be good to see Checo do well, actually. Where am I from? So, currently, I am just north of London at my uni. So, that's where I'm at the moment. So, England, obviously. Is the circuit in the F1 game? The circuit is in the F1 game. I'd actually recommend you go and look at some of the onboard footage from the game. I'm not entirely sure how accurate it's actually going to be, though. I'm not sure if it's going to be the most useful thing in the world. Because Codemasters have no data to go off, and the cars aren't that similar to real life anyway. The actual physics of the game, so... I don't know. It's interesting to look at if you want to get an idea of what the track's going to be like, you know, rough speeds. It's definitely something to look at. But the way that the F1 cars in the game ride the curbs is completely different to real life, so we will definitely see differences. This track looks so bad last night. I don't know. I think it's going to be a pretty good race. Because, look, we have to bear in mind, it's a wide track. We'll go back to one of the... It's still a really wide track, you know. It's not like racing is going to be impossible on it. As we go... yeah, look, it's a really wide track. Easily go too wide through there, so... I think there'll be overtakes, definitely. And the slipstream and DRS is going to play a massive role. The goat comes from Stevenage. Yeah, I'm actually quite close to Stevenage, so... I was actually really annoyed. I was visiting Stevenage one day. I think it was a Saturday. And the day before, Lewis had gone to Stevenage. And I was pretty annoyed about that. Because it was around the same area as well. I recognised the bin. Well, the wall and the bin where he was. Because I've sort of been around there before, so... That was quite annoying. That was really annoying. I was like, oh, damn, I missed him only by a day or so. So, that was a bit sad. But we move. Are the differential ratios fixed for the whole season, or can the teams give longer gives for it? I think it's fixed at the start of the season. I think they changed the rules quite a few years ago, actually, to make it fixed. I think this track is, some more saying, I think this track is underrated on how good it may be for side-by-side. Don't think it'll be great, but think it'll be good. I think it's going to be in the top half of the season. Like, we've had some pretty poor tracks for Auto Racing this year, so... I think it, you know, it's nothing groundbreaking, but I think it's going to be pretty good. Max will have a mare, will he now? That's interesting. When you go like 300 miles an hour, you cannot see someone waving a flag. Right, not 300 kilometres an hour more. I'd like to see F1 cars go 300 miles an hour. That'd be interesting. Other drivers slowed down. The rules are pretty clear. Oh, we're not going to discuss again. Watch the old live streams for that. Watch the old ones. Is the circuit like Baku? Somewhat. It's a lot faster than Baku, though. It's a lot faster than Baku. I think this is... I don't know how long this race is going to be. I don't think we have an average expected speed for this track. I don't know whether Mercedes maybe included it on here somewhere. No, they haven't put an average speed anywhere. Which is interesting, because I sort of want to know how... This could be one of the shortest time races, you know, barring any safety cars or red flag of the season, because we're talking really high speed through most of these corners, so... How many finishes do we reckon? There we go, actually. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one for the chat. How many finishes do we reckon? I saw someone said we're expecting 4 retirements this weekend. I'm going to say 3. I reckon... Oh, second quickest. Okay, yeah. So it's obviously just short of Monza. Carlos slowed down because he saw Pierre there, and Max and Valtteri did not. Yeah, I don't know exactly what speed it's going to be, but yeah, it'll be just short of Monza, won't it? It'll be quicker than Spa because there's less slow corners. So The only slow corners really are turn 1 and turn 2. Rest of it's pretty rapid. Does qualifying positions play the most important role here? Honestly, we don't know. It's a new track. These regulations aren't great for following, but look, we have to trust the FIA and the track designers to some extent. They said they designed this track with racing in mind. So we've got 3 DRS zones. They could be pretty powerful, especially since you're near full speed by sort of these points. So it's going to be effective. I think we're definitely going to see moves. I hope it's a really exciting race as well. Obviously, I hope every race is really exciting, but we're not often treated to that exactly. But it's not much. Sound is low. Is sound low? I've seen a couple of people say that, but I don't know. I'm using the same sound settings that I've always used, so I haven't changed them at all. I can up it. I can make it slightly higher, actually, if you want. The mic's slightly further away from me than usual. That could be actually. What if I move the mic? There we go. This is where it normally is. I'm fairly sure. That's definitely gonna be louder. Actually, that's probably it. 16 finishes maximum. Ooh, I like that. I like that. I definitely look. I'd put money on a safety car in this race, or virtual safety car at very least. So. I don't know where the marshal post after this is. It's a really long, strung-out track with high speeds. If you break down somewhere, if you have a crash somewhere, there's probably not going to be a marshal post near you. So most crashes will be an instant safety car. Random Predi blowouts like Baku. I really hope not. Not on this track. Yeah, I really hope not here. I don't think it, though, because a lot of these corners you're not going to have exceptionally high loads going through them. Here you will. Turn 16 you will. I think final corner you're going to as well. And maybe turn 13. But the rest of the track, you've not got exceptionally high loads compared to like other tracks in the year. So I'm not expecting it. The only issue would be if teams go a little bit too hard with it. Like they did in Qatar, trying to take them too long. High speed equals long safety car. Yeah. I'm assuming the unfinished debris on the side. The unfinished debris on the side of the track will be the gravel pits. The unfinished debris. Not sure what you exactly mean by that, or which bit you're referring to. Sorry. But yeah, no, it's not good. Like, oh, do you mean like the runoff bit here? I don't know. That's just. I assume this is just gonna be left as tarmac runoff. If that is what you mean. I think lightly low grip will be so fun this week. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's gonna be a real fight as well. The drivers having to try to keep control of their car. You know, a bit of understeer, a bit of oversteer mid corner. It's gonna really shape up the potential for moves as well. So, also F2 is back. I can't even begin to imagine F2 racing around this track. It's gonna be something. Whether it's a good something, we'll have to wait and find out. I'm really hyped for F2 as well to return. Red Bull is thinking about taking new engine for Max. Yes, we saw that one. Yeah, that is the banking. Yeah. So yeah, I think it was a Dr. Helmut Marko quote. I'm fairly sure. Yeah, it will stay like that. It'll be tarmac runoff. So yes, he was saying about the taking any engine penalties if they do it with Max. It will be actually at Abu Dhabi rather than. Oh God, Morgan, no. It's Abu Dhabi rather than here in Jeddah. So I don't know why. It's interesting. Christian says hello, Christian. I don't like this, by the way. I'm not gonna give the story out to the stream, but just whenever you see Morgan say that, just assume I'm dying of cringe. Yes. There we go. But yeah, I think that's honestly. I don't think there's a lot more to talk about this week. Most of the bigger discussions are going to be during the weekend. So I sort of wanted to go live. So yeah, like I say, if you're new here, we're going to be bringing a lot more content throughout the course of this weekend. There's going to be a lot of streaming. So what is the penalty Max will be getting? His would be a 5-place grid penalty. So you get a penalty for taking new engine components. That's how he would get a penalty. But I don't know if they'll do it. I don't know if they'll actually do it. Maybe Checo will take engine penalty and try to help Max? Potentially. If they can try to get Checo anywhere near Lewis and Abu Dhabi with a fresh engine, that's what I'll be looking out for. Party mode final race probs. Yeah, I think both teams are just going to go hell for leather in the final race. Especially if they come in even, they're going to just give it absolutely everything they've got within a safe limit. Is it his 4 ICE? I think it'd be his 5th, wouldn't it? Because he's already taken a penalty before, so I think it'd be his 5th and a 5-place grid drop if he did do it. But I can't see him doing it. I'll be really surprised if they do. At this point, they wouldn't do it for Abu Dhabi. I can't see them doing it for Abu Dhabi. I don't get the thought process there. They can't let Lewis start on pole, Bottas P2, and then take a penalty. That Bottas is just going to hold Max up 2016 style. So I really can't see it. Any ideas yet on times you'll go live over the weekend, or you see as it happens? Well, I'll go live probably at the end of Friday to sort of talk about the day. And I'll definitely do pre-quali, post-quali, pre-race and post-race. So yeah, loads of live content coming up. So, and you know, I've got more incentive. Now we are a monetized YouTube channel, which is incredible. We even have super chats now, which are mega. I don't know how they work yet, but they're really cool. So that'll be fun. Too little, too late. Lewis will cruise into the sunset. Well, we never know. Well, we will know in about 10 days' time. And that's the beauty of it. We really genuinely don't know who's going to be champion in 10 days' time. When's the last time that happened? We come into the last 2 races. No idea who's going to be champion. It's going to be one of those two, but it's 50-50 at the moment. It could go either way. And anything happens at all to either driver and their season's over, basically. For Mercedes and Lewis to win the Constructors and Drivers' Championship, Valtteri will be a huge part. Yeah, I've said for years that Valtteri would be the person who loses them a Constructors rather than wins them it. And, you know, this is the year it could happen. I doubt Bottas will hold up Max long. He'll give it a go. I never said it would be effective, but he'll give it a go. I think they'll only take the engine penalty if Max wins in Jeddah. Awesome, thanks. I'll keep an eye out. Oh yeah, I know when to keep an eye out. Yeah, as well, if you're not in the Discord, I think the Discord link is right in the top of the description. I think the link still works, hopefully. Yeah, I hope that still works. So yeah, like I say, you'll get all live notifications. I talk to everyone in there. If you have any questions at all, you know, any news article you see in the week that you like the looks of, send it over my way, and you know, I can give my opinion on it and things like that. It's pretty good. All right, I gotta go. Cheers for the stream. Give me a shout if you need any help with streams this week, Morgan. Yeah, thank you, Morgan. Yeah, I'll probably have you on for one of the quali shows or something. I think it'd be cool to have you back on. Do a quali watch along. You see, I've sort of thought about doing the watch alongs before. But what I've typically seen is a lot of the viewers go when we get to about half an hour before a session. And I don't know. I don't know if I sort of just prefer watching it properly, being able to get my thoughts fully, and then come on and do the stream afterwards when maybe everyone's, you know, sort of fresh from it and excited. Can't wait for Lewis to do what he does best for every new circuit. Yeah, performs pretty well. Wouldn't say 50-50 tracks and package benefit Merc. Yeah, they do, but Max has the advantage at the moment on points. That's what evens it out, really. But yes, I want to thank everyone for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Now, don't turn off, because this is something that most people missed at the start of the stream. The whole of this stream, and I'll probably keep it up for this weekend, is effectively in honour remembering Sir Frank Williams, who obviously passed away earlier this week. So don't tune off, because we do have, I have something that I prepared at the start of the stream and I used, that I'm going to show again. So don't tune off, just wait for this last minute or so, and then we'll be right there. I'll literally do the last questions, and then we'll show it. Forget bendy wings, Red Bull to introduce flexible wheel rims on the turns to wheel stretch out to make the tyres wider for more grip. Now that would be something. That would be something. Do you think Merc can get a 1-2? Absolutely. Only issue is, what is Bottas going to be able to do? That's the big question. What's my Twitter at? My Twitter at is at @VSG_beacon. My DMs are open. It's you can actually see it on the screen right next to the Sir Frank thing. So 1-2 unlikely. Yeah, it depends really what Bottas can do. But anyway, guys, I can't wait to see you later on in the weekend and see you all in the chat again. But like I said, don't turn off just now. Wait for the next minute and a half, because we do have the tribute for Sir Frank Williams. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll hang around and chat for a couple of minutes afterwards before officially ending the stream. But here we go. We take it back to the Sir Frank Williams tribute. Hello, everybody. Welcome to RaceBeacon's... Which I did wrong. I muted the wrong thing. Here we go. Hello, everybody. And welcome to RaceBeacon's The Midweek Show. Now, in the past week, the devastating news of the passing of Sir Frank Williams shook the racing world. He had dedicated his life to motorsport, and of course himself and Patrick Head were able to guide a team that had no right to be successful into the household name that it is for motorsport fans today. They took on the likes of Ferrari, McLaren, Lotus, Alfa Romeo, Renault, and many, many more, and came out on top. Not once, not twice, but 8 times over the course of only 17 years. They also made champions with Alan Jones, Keke Rosberg, Nelson Piquet, Nigel Mansell, Alain Prost, Damon Hill, and Jacques Villeneuve, all winning drivers' titles with the team. And while that dominance has been missing in recent years, the history books prove and serve as a testament of what was achieved during Sir Frank's career. And as the Williams family have stepped away, and while Sir Frank's time has come, we must remember what he was able to achieve, as his name races on for many years to come. Thank you for watching, guys, and good night. See you in the weekend.